Growing your exposure. Leadership is not merely a product of education. It is a fruit of exposure. Degrees can certify you, but exposure shapes your life. Certificates may open doors, but exposure teaches you how to walk through them. A person may have the best qualifications on paper, yet remain small in impact because their world is small. Another may have limited formal education, yet carry global influence because of exposure in their world. You are not limited by your ability, you are limited by your exposure. Where you stay the longest becomes the strongest in your heart. Where you spend your time becomes the shape of your thinking. Where you keep your focus becomes the direction of your future. A man may leave the village, but the village may not leave the man. A leader may move from the city to another city, but the mindset may still remain rural. Exposure is not about location, it is about transformation. Moses was born a Hebrew slave, yet raised in Pharaoh's palace. He was exposed to royal leadership, administration, education, diplomacy, and welfare. When God called him, he had both the humility of a shepherd and the exposure of a prince. In Exodus 2:10, and he became her son, and she named him Moses, saying, I drew him out of water. Without the palace exposure, Moses might have remained a slave in mentality, and without the desert exposure, he might have remained a prince without character. God used both exposure to prepare a deliverer. Joseph's life was a journey of exposure, from a family tent to Potiphar's house to the prison to Pharaoh's palace. Each environment added a layer of leadership to his life. In Genesis 50:20, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. Joseph learned administration in Potiphar's house. He learned patience in prison. He learned governance in the palace. His exposure produced national leadership. Daniel was taken from Jerusalem to Babylon. He was exposed to foreign language, a new culture, exposed to political systems and royal courts. Yet he maintained his faith while expanding his influence. Daniel 1:17. God gave them knowledge and understanding of all kinds of literature and learning. Exposure did not corrupt him, it elevated him. These are some of the principles of exposure. The distance you see determines the distance you lead. A leader cannot take people where he has never been. Vision is born out of exposure. If your world is small, your dreams will be small. If your exposure is wide, your vision will be wide. The power of exposure. Exposure enlarges your thinking, refines your decision, multiplies your possibilities. Exposure stretches your faith, shapes your vision, deepens your leadership, changes your language. Exposure changes your association and changes your destiny. Now, practical ways to work on your exposure. Visit better places, travel to places that are ahead of where you are. Study their systems, observe their mindset, learn what works, adapt it to your own culture. If you want a bigger future, step into a bigger environment. Read the books of the great mind. Books are bridges to the worlds you may never physically visit. Through a book, you sit with great leaders, hear global ideas, learn from distant cultures. A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. Invest in your head. Take a self-inventory. What have I learned this month? Your library will shape your legacy. Reduce time wasters. Great leaders are known for their libraries, not their wardrobes. Image is what you wear. Wisdom is what you carry. Wisdom solves problems. The world pays problem solvers. Change your association. Some leaders are big fish in small ponds. If you're a big fish, find an ocean. Find people who stretch your thinking, challenge your comfort, and enlarge your dreams. Meet people who make you feel like you must go back to school. Meet people who make you feel you must start a new project. Use your potential to its fullest. A leader must have great exposure if they are going to make an impact in their own world. Change what you watch. What you see shapes what you become. Images stay longer in the mind than words. You may forget names, but you never forget the faces. Ask yourself, what pictures are in your house? What videos fill your time? What stories fill your imagination? Think about this. You cannot think globally while remaining mentally locally. You cannot lead widely while seeing narrowly. Books expand your mind, travel expands your vision, and people expand your possibilities. Your world is only as big as your exposure. When your exposure increases, your excuses decreases. Small environments produce small thinking, and small thinking produce small people. What you see repeatedly becomes what you believe eventually. Finally, many leaders did not fail because they were unqualified. They failed because they were not exposed. They stayed too long in small environments. They listened too long to small voices and watched too long small visions, and small inputs produced small outcomes. But the moment exposure increases, vision expands, faith raises, dreams grow, leadership multiplies. A man who has seen the ocean will never be satisfied with the pond. A leader who has seen the world will never settle for a corner. Exposure changes what you see. Work on your exposure deliberately. Do not let geography define your destiny. Do not let environment imprison your vision. Your exposure is your edge. Your exposure is your elevation. So arise, explore, read, travel, learn, and grow, because the size of your exposure will determine the size of your impact. Thank you for listening on Exposure.